All right, here we go with this week's UConn podcast. And our guest today is, well, first of all, I want to wish everyone a belated happy Scott Burrell Day. On Friday, the Lieutenant Governor of Connecticut and the Mayor of Milford proclaimed it Scott Burrell Day in Connecticut. It was pretty awesome. There was a little event at Dockside Brewery in Milford. And so congratulations, Scott.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. It was surprising. I never knew anything about it. I was just planning on going there to open up a website, launch a website with Haddad and partners. And next thing you know, the Lieutenant Governor and the Mayor give me a proclamation. It was a nice, very nice day, though.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that website. It's www.breakitdownwithburrell.com. And yeah, tell me a little bit about that venture.
Yeah, I did something with Haddad and partners early in last year during the pandemic. And we built a relationship, and they do a great job building websites. And they said, let's build your website. I was like, I would love to have that happen. And it's really about me teaching what I've learned throughout my life. I had some great teachers and great leaders in my life. Coach Calhoun, Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson. I played for 4 or 5 Hall of Fame coaches, played with about 4 or 5 Hall of Fame players. And you learn how to be great. I played with some very good players, but when you play with great players and great leaders and great coaches, you want to pass on what you've learned and what you've learned. And that's what I want to do with this platform I have.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like you said, Jim Calhoun, Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, you obviously you learn a lot how to kind of achieve excellence, I guess, right? Is that one of the main things you're trying to, do with this website? You
definitely do. It's you can be a leader. People say I'm a leader who is not a verbal leader. The leader has to be the hardest worker, a verbal leader, physically he has to know. Everybody has to have a presence. Mentally, everybody has to know how tough he is during tough times, and I've seen that through those guys, and it shaped my life to become a better and more confident player. Through the tough times, I became a better person, a better player. I mean, for instance, The Last Dance. Everybody saw Michael riding me, but it didn't faze me because I loved it. Because I knew he liked and I knew he cared about me, and I knew he wanted me to be a better player and a more mentally tough player because they were going to need me in the long run. But I've been through that stuff with Coach Calhoun, so it's just like those guys have shaped my life and made me a better and stronger person.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about The Last Dance too, because that was such a huge hit during the pandemic. It was like everyone was getting their sports fix through that at the time, and it was so well done. And you, like you said, you were a main part of that for some of those episodes, Michael needling you and you taking it. And how much did that raise your your prominence and people knowing you a little more, and maybe even helping you as a coach on the recruiting trail? Is that all raise your level of people knowing you a little bit there?
Oh, definitely. It brought, I'm old and I haven't played in a long time, so. The Last Dance definitely brought my name back to life again. And I'll tell you nothing that brought my name back up again was the quarterback from Arizona getting drafted again. Because I was before the only person to be drafted in the first round in 2 sports, but as he was drafted in both sports, it still makes me the first, but it makes me the only one in basketball and baseball. So, I mean, those 2 things this last summer definitely helped my name get brought back into the limelight a little bit.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. And Toronto Blue Jays, of course, in UConn's own George Springer is now a Blue Jay. You ever talk to George at all? You know him at all? Or
never met him, but I tell you what, he's a great player. Loved watching when he was with the Astros. It was a great World Series against the Dodgers, and they had a great team. So hopefully he goes up north and does some good things for the Blue Jays.
And you've got MJ back a little bit as far as all the needling goes. You got him back on the golf course a few times, right?
Well, we played a few times. I don't know if trust me, I'm not putting any wagers against him on the golf course because his wagers will be bumped up a little bit more and more. So he's not going to put the squeeze on me to make my pipes bust. So I'll just go out and play with him and have fun.
There you go. Well, I mentioned last Friday, Scott Burrell Day in Connecticut, but that could also very well be today. We sit here on Monday, March 22nd. It's the anniversary of the 31st anniversary, to be exact, of the famous The Shot by Tate George, and of course from your end, the Pats. Any UConn fan worth his salt knows that incredible play. 1 second left against Clemson in the Sweet 16. Scott, you threw a full court inbounds pass to Tate, turned around, swished it. Just an amazing play in NCAA basketball tournament history. and rarely duplicated play. The thing that strikes me most about that play, Scott, look back at it from 31 years ago, is just how everything had to kind of go right, and everything did go right. From your great pass, I mean, a full court pass, completely accurate. From everyone talks about your baseball days, football days too, right? You were a quarterback, right?
Yes. Yep.
And in Tate making the catch, turning around, swishing the shot. I mean, in 1 second, everything just went perfectly on that play, right?
It did. But the most disappointing thing about the whole thing is we blew a 18 or 17-point lead. We had that game under control. I get on Smitty a little bit because he slipped up on defense near the end of the game. So I ride Smitty a lot when we talk all the time about that play. But no, it just we give up. We just fell asleep. And like you said, everything had to go right with the last play. I was taking that ball to bounce. Elton Campbell was guarding me on my left side. But I'm right-handed. Me being right-handed, I was able to have an open throwing lane to anything on the right side of the court. And obviously 6'11", 7 feet. So I couldn't see anything on the left, like I said. So Tate did a great job walling his guy off. Only thing I had to do was make sure Eldon didn't tip the pass and get the ball to Tate's left hand. And Tate did like I said, he did a great job walling his guy off, caught it, turned and pivoted and knocked it down. And from my angle, I couldn't tell if I was on line. I knew the distance was right, but the best thing was watching that thing go through the net. And it just, you get a new life and you don't want the same thing happen. You're going to go out the next game and do your best and try to get to that Final Four. But
we'll get to that in a second, what happened afterwards. But you talk about the recognition you got from The Last Dance and from Kyler Murray. But do you still get people who recognize you from that? I mean, obviously Tate had the shot. Maybe he gets more recognition for that. But people have given you pretty good credit for making that great pass over the years, right?
Yeah, they have. Yeah. My friends call the pass. So yeah, that's all that matters.
Capital T, capital P, right?
Yeah. So we still it's because it goes hand in hand. Without one, you don't have the other. So we're linked together forever for that play.
Right. And I say rarely duplicated because like I see that teams trying to make a shot like that, make a play like that in the waning seconds of games all the time. I think I just saw one the other day. I think it might have been Texas or I can't remember the team, but they tried a kind of a full court pass and it got botched. The kid couldn't catch it or it got deflected away, and it's just such a hard thing to execute. And but you guys did it. I think maybe the only other one that rivals that in terms of fame is the one from Grant Hill to Christian Laettner 2 years later against Kentucky. That was a great one as well.
It was.
And of course, speaking of Christian Laettner, 2 nights later, I guess obviously he got you on a buzzer beater. But just talk about that whole run that year, how incredible that was for you and for the program in general. That
run was unbelievable. It's my freshman year. We started off the season, struggled. I think we were 0-2 up in Alaska. Then we went on this. We kind of found each other. We believed in each other. We battled for each other. We bought into what coach was teaching. And we just had an unbelievable run. We go through the Big East. We tie for the regular season championship, which I think we were supposed to come in last or second to last place that year. We ended up winning the Big East championship regular season with some really big-time studs playing that league, NBA big-time lottery picks and #1 picks. So it was a huge accomplishment. But obviously we believed in each other so much, we went to win the Big East tournament. 3 games in 3 nights against some of the best teams in the country. And after that, we got the #1 seed, which I can say that. I can really say no one believed that at UConn would ever have a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. And I'm not sure if we even believed it. But I think we had the fear of every night going out to play, like we had something to prove. And we weren't really that good. Because we never had any stars on the team. So if we didn't go out to play at the best of our ability, offensively, defensively, and play hard and play tough, we knew we could get beat. So I think everybody went out there with the mindset of do your job to the best of your ability, and we'll have a chance to win because we're tougher than the other team. We're going to press the other team. We're going to make teams turn the ball over. And it just correlated to a huge season for us that got more exciting each time we stepped on the court. Then obviously we go to the NCAA tournament. You're the #1 seed playing at Hartford, and that place was electric. I remember having goosebumps. The hair on my arms was up because it was so loud in there. It was so much energy that our home crowd gave us. It was so exciting to play in Gamble or the Civic Center. Right.
Do you feel like that team? I mean, obviously the '88 NIT team was big for the program. Do you feel like you guys though in '90 kind of kind of put UConn basketball on the map a little bit, just on a national level?
Yeah, I think there was a great history before we got there, but I think on the national level, that year might have put UConn on the map nationally. That's when coach started getting recruits from Seattle, from California, from Phoenix to Reading, Pennsylvania, Danielle. When Donnie came here, he said, watching us on NCAA, I'm sure Kevin watched us on the NCAA. Brian Fair from Phoenix watched us during the NCAA. So I think that year turned eyes, to be honest, across the world, the nation and the world, because we got more guys from Israel after that, and Cologne, Germany, to be a team that was top notch, one of the best in the country each and every year, and help us rise to the top of the Big East every year.
Right. What are your memories of the Elite Eight game and then the late in the shot? What was your vantage point on that one?
My memories were, it was probably the best time I had playing college basketball. I would say that winning the Big East, then winning the Big East tournament, and then playing in the NCAA tournament, 1, 2, and 3 those are the best times. Because winning the Big East, I think regular season is the hardest thing you can do. Anyone can get lucky during the Big East tournament, get hot, or you may have a little hot streak during the NCAA tournament. But winning the Big East regular season was the hardest thing you had to do. Then the most exciting is the 3 days in the Garden. Then it's do or die. But I remember playing at home to first 2 games, blowing an 18-point lead against Clemson, but having life again to feel like, you know what, maybe this is our year to make the Final Four. But then, like you said, the next game after the Clemson game, Christian Laettner hits a buzzer beater against us. And you just feel like, I fouled out that game, and I felt like if I was on that court, that last play, I would have had a chance to change that. And I think that hurts the most. I may have got a tip. I might have got a block. I might have stole the ball. So it hurts that not being on the court to help for that last play. It hurts.
Right. You know who was at that game and also the Clemson game 2 days earlier as a fan was Dan Hurley.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Obviously his brother was playing, but he was, I don't know if Duke played before or after you in the Clemson game, but he had a good vantage point of both those games, both those shots. So, you mentioned the winning the Big East. That's a great point. The winning the Big East regular season is the biggest accomplishment, because especially back then. Man, that league was just a bear back then, right?
It was. We're going against, we're little old UConn playing against Syracuse, Georgetown, Villanova, Pittsburgh. Providence. These are schools that St. John's. These are schools that usually win the Big East. When I was growing up, you always see their names on top of the Big East. And then we finally have a chance to flip it and get them and put our names on top each and every year. It's awesome to see.
So what do you think about to juxtapose that against the current Big East? I don't think any conference could ever duplicate what the Big East had in the 80s and 90s, but or even into the 2000s. But what do you look at the current Big East and you look at UConn and they're back, and how do you look at the ability of that conference right now?
I think because it's so spread out now. You have Creighton, you have so many other teams, you have teams all over the country that it hurts rivalries, and it hurts the battles of the history of the Big East. I think it's a very good conference, but rivalries make it even more exciting and make games even more and tougher. And there's so many different schools that aren't in your area now, so it's a different feel. Like I remember playing against Providence, no matter what the records were, it was going to be a dogfight. Playing against Boston College, no matter what the records were, it's going to be a dogfight. It's a different feel now, but it's like I said, it's still the same Big East, but it's just a different feel without rivalries out there every night you're playing.
And how about UConn? I'm sure you paid attention to their season this year, first year back in the league. What did you think about their season on a whole? What they did during this crazy regular season, and then kind of just how it ended on a Saturday night in a first round tournament loss to Maryland. But how do you kind of encapsulate what the Huskies did this season?
I think it's incredible what they did. They have 2 or 3 breaks because of COVID, I think.
Yeah.
I think you don't understand how hard it is for the staff, the players, to go through a season like this. It's not a normal season. You have breaks. You can't go to the gym. You got to be careful. Kids can't even be a normal college student. Like, you go to college for 4 years to enjoy your 4 years of college and play college basketball and get your degree. But it's so hard for these kids during this time. So mentally, you feel for them and you appreciate everything they've been through. And to still come out with a great record and a great year, I commend them for that, and the staff. I think they're a very good team. I just think they ran into a team that made some big shots. And every time UConn made a run in the NCAA tournament against Maryland, they would make another big three. I think, but for the first year in the Big East to come in third, I think they're very close to being back on top of that Big East.
Right. By the way, speaking of COVID pauses and shutdowns and whatnot, of course, the Northeast 10 Conference, ended up canceling all their winter sports this year. So, yes, as head coach of Southern Connecticut State, you didn't have any games this winter. It must have been tough. What have you been doing? And have you been able to? Has the team been able to do activities throughout this time, practices and things like that?
Well, yeah, we were supposed to start in January. Then they gave us a final notice saying we're going to shut the season down. I think the kids are obviously disappointed because we had a little preseason. Then they went home for break, but then they finally shut us down. Definitely disappointed, but it's a health situation which is out of our hands, and it's harder for Division II because it's harder to make up games, money-wise, travel-wise, academic-wise. So I understand why they shut the season down. I just feel, like I said before, bad for the kids not getting a chance to experience college and the most fun that they should be having right now in their lives before they go out into the real world. And maybe the last time playing basketball. But the last month we've been working out. Hopefully we'll play some exhibition games or scrimmages against like New Haven or Bridgeport, just so the kids can have some fun playing some games in April. But I just, like I said, it's a tough situation for all of them. Hopefully we can all get through this. Hope vaccines work. I hope, other situations, other ways of handling this virus works, and we can get back on the court next year and play.
Have most of the kids stuck around still with the team, with the school, and with the program? They still there? Have you lost anyone to a transfer or anything like that?
No, everybody's still here. They're still here. They're working out hard. We just got to stay healthy and try to finish the school year off. They go home for break. Hopefully they stay healthy when they go home during the summer, and we come back next year and have a good preseason.
Right, good, because obviously you had some good momentum going with the program, and things have been pretty good over in the last few years. So hopefully you can keep that going, like you said, next year, right?
Yeah. Only thing we've been really talented. Only thing that's been hurting us really is our health. Each year we've had injuries that decimate us, or even the flu decimate us. And when you don't have that many scholarships, you don't go that deep in Division II. But if we're healthy, and we'll have a great year next year if we stay healthy. And I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to it. I know the kids are, and I know they can't wait to get back on the court and compete against other teams instead of playing against each other. And most of the time you can't have contact because it's always, a situation where you can only do individual workouts.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's been a crazy year for everybody, and hopefully we just get through this, like you said, and get back to some return to normalcy next year.
Yeah.
Getting back to UConn for a second. First of all, obviously your number was put up into the Huskies of Honor a couple of years ago. That must have been a great thrill for you prior to playing them in an exhibition game. That must have been great for you, right?
Yeah, it was a great feeling. Definitely a great feeling. I think it was great more for my family and my daughter and my son to see it, my wife to see it. It's you go to UConn to try to make an impact, and hopefully I made a good impact on that school, and they recognized me to put my number up there. So that means I did something right in my 4 years there. Yeah. Yeah,
it's a way to show the kids that look, Pops was a pretty good player back in the day. They might just they might have just thought you were just talking junk for a while, but now they see it actually was the truth, right?
When they get older, they definitely would think I'm just talking junk, because number one, the VHS tapes that they're going to watch games on when they get older, they're not even going to see them. The quality's going to be so bad, they're not even going to see who's who on the court. So just to be able to see a jersey, they must know I did something at least.
Right. And of course, you went on to play in the NBA with the Bulls, as you mentioned, and several seasons in the league. And I want to ask you about UConn's James Bouknight and what you see in him, what you think of him as a player, and he's projected as a first round, potentially a lottery pick, or at least mid first round is what most people are saying. He's got a tough decision to make coming up in these upcoming weeks. What do you think of him, and what do you think of his potential future as an NBA player?
I think he's a very good player. I hope he comes back for one more year, because I think UConn could be very, very good next year. But we talked about this earlier. I think if you're supposed to be a first-round pick, you got to make that decision to go. And I think that's what he's going to do. But I would love to see him come back. I mean, UConn's in a growth period right now, trending in a great upward spiral, path. And I think if he came back for another year, he gives him an easy 18 points a game. And I think if you say another year, it'd be up to 20-something a game probably, with growth and learning more offensively and making things easier for him. But, like we said, if it's your time to go, it's your time to go. And being a first-round pick, it means it's your time to go most of the time.
It's got to be such a tough decision for the kid because, I unfortunately, this year it's tough to get to know the kids too well if everything's on Zoom. But last year as a freshman and got to know him a little bit, and I do think he cares about. He likes being at UConn. He likes being a college player. I think Dan Hurley has said many times he wants to be considered in that pantheon of great UConn players and do things that other guys have done. So I think that's legit on his part. But as I was talking to you beforehand, if it were me, it's hard for me to pass up the money, even though the money could be better next year. There's the risk of injury. There's things like that. To me, it's you kind of have to go, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, especially during this day and age too, you don't know what can happen next year. I mean, next year, if the virus is still around, hope it doesn't happen. But if he does get it again, he misses another few weeks of a season. That always, could change his draft pick. Or even sometimes with the health risks that come along with the virus. So you kind of have to go if your opportunity is here now, because you don't know what the future holds. Like you said, injury as well. But like I said, as a selfish UConn fan and alum, and you covering the team, it would be great if we could watch him play again in a UConn uniform. And his number would definitely go up on the rafters if you put another year in there, and because he's special.
He is, and yeah, if he came back, UConn just changes their entire spectrum for next year. I would think they'd be possibly the best team in the Big East without looking. Villanova's always going to be there too, but if he doesn't come back without him, they're really kind of lacking as of now, sort of a kind of a number one go-to guy. They have certainly good players. RJ Cole emerged as a good player this year, point guard. Guys like Tyrese Martin was up and down, but played well at times. Obviously, Adama Sanogo, big man. Be interesting to see if he, a kind of a class back to basket big man could be their number one scoring option. It'd be a little different from a lot of Dan Hurley teams in the past. But without Bouknight, next year it could be interesting. It could be. I'm sure they'll be good, but it could be tough sailing a little bit. Yeah,
because you're bringing some young guys, but you don't know what the young guys how they're going to adjust to college basketball right away. I'm sure they're really talented, but Bouknight's been there 2 years, been through some tough battles, mentally, physically, and you grow during those battles in good times and bad times. And a third year of college basketball never hurts, but also playing the NBA doesn't hurt either. So
doesn't hurt the checkbook, that's for sure.
No, definitely.
What have you seen from the NCAA tournament? We're here Monday morning, midway through the round of 32. Any particular teams impressed you so far? And what do you think going forward? Who do you like sort of as the favorite to win it all?
Well, in my brackets, I had Oral Roberts going to the. No. I tell you what, it's amazing to watch. I tell you who was awesome. Loyola of Chicago was awesome to watch yesterday. A veteran team they play at their own pace. They have huge IQ. They're on the same page defensively. They're nasty. They have great hands. They're fun to watch. But there's some surprising teams that have been around. The older teams are winning, and some teams didn't have a chance to have that chemistry because of COVID. And like Virginia, they just flew up a couple nights before, played, haven't practiced. So it's tough for all these teams, but it's fun to watch because you don't know who's going to win in these games. Like Oregon State, I watched the game late last night. Oregon State competed in a battle late last night too.
Yeah, they beat Oklahoma State with the potential probable number one draft pick, and Oregon State was picked to finish last in the Pac-12, and everybody, including myself, gets on the Pac-12 for being weak. But they're actually they're having a better showing than the Big Ten is so far. And it's just crazy. You joke about picking Oral Roberts, and I laugh. But you know what? In hindsight, people should have been picking those type of games because you kind of just knew it was going to be crazy this year.
Yeah, you know which ones to pick, but definitely. It's really up in the air. And with Illinois getting knocked out. Loyola Chicago looked like And also, I think seeding got messed up because of what happened this year. Like Loyola Chicago is not. I think they were an 11 seed. I can't remember what they were yesterday.
I think there were eight or nine, I believe.
Eight or nine. Yeah, 8 or 9. I mean, they should have been a 5 or 6 seed or something, or maybe even better. So a lot of seedings were messed up because of lack of games, or some teams didn't play the top teams like they're supposed to. So I mean, that plays a huge part in too of when you play and who you play because of seedings.
Yeah, no doubt. I had Illinois winning it all, so thanks a lot, Loyola. But
well, they're in Illinois, so
yeah, right.
You're partially right.
I'll tell you another team that UConn would have been playing this evening, Alabama. I like them a lot too. I really like the players. We know Jordan Bruner a little bit from his time at Yale. We even know the kid. His name has escaped me. Played at Villanova. Was a high school All-American. Didn't work out for him under Jay Wright, but he's playing well for Alabama. I like that team a lot. Nate Oates, the way they play. It would have been a tough battle for UConn tonight, and I'm liking Alabama. By the time this we put this online, maybe the game will be over and I'll look dumb. But I like Alabama going far.
Yeah, I think if Michigan was healthy, they would be a team that would go farther. I think with them not having great health, it's going to be tough for them. But Alabama definitely is a team that shoots the ball well. They push in transition. They're athletic, and they compete hard. So, I mean, Alabama is really tough. And I was looking forward to Alabama-UConn game too. But it'll be a good game tonight. They play tonight, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Alabama will be a great game. They'll have a great game tonight.
Right. And, of course, Gonzaga, probably the favorite to win it all now, and deservedly so because they've been great all year. I just thought, for some reason, I just felt it was going to be tough for them to just put together a completely undefeated season, and somewhere along the line this tournament they'd get popped. But I don't know, man. They look pretty good.
They're good, and you know what? It's one and done for everyone. So everybody has the same amount of pressure on them now. And I think they're a seasoned team. They've been so close so many years, and Coach Few does a great job out there. And I just think they have enough talent. I mean, those guys, they have enough athletes, enough role players. They're poised. They're like an older veteran team, and like an NBA team playing college basketball.
Right. Well, Scott, what have you been? You mentioned obviously, hopefully some workouts. Or you have had some workouts with the team. What have you been doing over the past few months to kind of keep going here? I mean, I'm sure you've been working on your website and things like that. What else have you been doing to keep busy and keep things going?
Just trying to learn my team more, trying to get closer with those guys, because all we have now is time. And I'm trying to get closer, trying to understand each person, each individual, trying to get more out of them for next year, preparing for next year mentally, physically, see what they want in basketball, see if they're really ready to compete and give it their all to win a national championship and the conference championship. That's about it. And spending time with my family, the wife and the kids, really, and cherishing every moment of that, because COVID, with COVID, you just never know how much your life will change in a split second. So I'm enjoying every minute with them. Yeah,
and I know I know during the summer and stuff, you were everywhere on Zoom, and the people were talking to you everywhere, ESPN, and you were all over the place. And but it must have been pretty fun, right? Talking about talking about The Last Dance and just some of the good times in your life, right?
Definitely. I mean, Good Morning America, ESPN. It was a lot of fun. I mean, I got to talk to people I wouldn't ever talk to. So it's explaining my side of what I thought people think was bullying. I don't think it was bullying. Some people might in this day and age, but I think it was just someone pushing to be great. And when people razz each other and tease each other, it's not in a hurtful way. It's in a joking way. And, we're friends now. He sent me a birthday video the other day. So Michael, and it's fun to be a part of greatness and to see how greatness works at every level.
Do you mind? Can you reveal what he said to you in that message? What Michael Jordan said?
He just said, "Happy birthday! You're one of my favorite teammates." What people might believe, it's not true. I mean, he enjoyed me, and we need to play some golf. That's about it, really.
Are you in contact with other former Bulls teammates, and for that matter, other NBA teammates from over the years?
A lot of my teammates. So I talked to Steve Kerr a lot. I talked to Ron Harper a lot. I talked to Wennington. I talked to a lot of those guys still from Chicago, and other teams too as well. So it's you build a good bond with some of the guys on some of those teams, and it's great to talk to them after each time you reach out.
Ron Harper's son, a pretty good little ball player too.
He is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. Rutgers had a chance to yesterday.
Yeah, you must. Were you rooting for Rutgers with Steve Peichel and?
Of course, yeah, UConn guys. Yeah, you definitely want them to do well too. So, and they were close to getting there too.
Do you have a team you're rooting for now that UConn's out?
No, I just like to see good games now.
Yeah,
I don't really have a favorite though.
Right.
Yeah. Whoever wins it at the end, that's who I picked.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Who'd you pick?
Whoever wins it.
So you didn't fill out a bracket then.
You know what's funny? I filled out the first two rounds, and after everybody got knocked out, basically, I'm like, why am I figuring this out? Because no one else is gonna. And I did it before the next round came up, but no one else is gonna pick these teams, so I can't even go on any further. So I just stopped doing it.
Yeah, well, you're probably wise because it's tough to pick this year, but
it is.
So break it down with Burrell.com is the website, and hopefully that takes off and things are tough with that. And yes. Otherwise, like you said, hopefully your team can get some scrimmages in maybe. And you're saying maybe in April you might get some scrimmages in.
Hopefully, we can get some games in before basketball is done for the year, and just so they can compete, get to play with each other, get to do something they love to do besides go to school and be students. Just let them have fun.
Yeah, and hopefully, like you said, get back to normal next year.
Yes.
Maybe even get another exhibition game with UConn. I know it's not always easy, and I know they like their secret scrimmages and whatnot, but hopefully maybe something like that can happen. But you'll always get it. If things can get back to normal, you typically get some good preseason exhibitions, right?
We'll try to get at least one D1 each year. I don't know what we're gonna do next year yet, so we're still looking for one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck with that, and happy 31st anniversary to. Now, was that the greatest game you were ever a part of? That the game with the best? No.
Winning that championship game is the most stressful thing in NBA. In the NBA was the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Knowing it was Michael's last year, knowing the Bulls were going to break up after the year, and I knew I was never going to get back to a championship, most likely. So it's the most stressful thing you can ever do.
Right. Yeah. Man, it's been a pretty wild career for you. A lot of great stuff, a lot of great moments, and it's still going, of course, as head coach of Southern Connecticut. So, Scott Burrell of Hamden, Connecticut, Hamden's one of Hamden's greatest athletes of all time. It was great to have you on the podcast today. Great talking to you, and best of luck with your new website venture and with the Southern basketball team and with all things going forward.
Thank you, Dave. Yep, break it down with Burrell. Make sure you go check it out.
Awesome, man. Great talking to you.
Thank you. Have a good one, Dave.
You too.
Thanks.